Hi there, everyone. I just wanted to briefly explain to you homework number one. So, you have homework number one in your course packet, and it is on page 10 in your course packet, and you also have it here in Canvas. It's the same thing. So, this is worth all the homework assignments are worth 20 points. And the easiest thing I can say is the closer you follow all the directions, the more points you're going to get out of 20 points. But beyond that, you'll always see at the top a minimum page requirement, which means to get the full 20 points, you have to at least meet that 2 to 3 pages or whatever it says. And I never penalize you if you go over the page limit. So follow the directions. Please type and number each response. So you are going to see a total of 3 questions. So I need you to have number 1 and then type your response for number 1, number 2, and then your number 2 response, number 3, and then number 3 response. So I'm not looking for one giant essay. Please don't write me an essay. Please keep it 3 separate answers. Read each question carefully and respond to all parts of the question. Write assuming I do not know the assignment, the material, or you. This will force you into the appropriate level of clarity and detail. If you want me to understand, please write as clearly as possible. Also, in your grade, I'm looking for college level writing, meaning just basic, complete sentences, correct spelling, correct grammar. So don't get too casual with your writing. You're not writing a text, obviously. So question number 1, you are going to identify and explain 3 of your interpersonal communication strengths. Please underline each strength. And I want you to talk about each strength separately. So when it says, explain in general, what do you do that demonstrates that you possess this trait? So you could say, one of my strengths is I am a good listener. In general, I tend to, and then talk about generally what do you do as a good listener. Then I need you to give a specific example of an instance when you demonstrated that particular strength in a specific interpersonal communication situation. In your example, explain what you did that shows you possess that strength. So I am looking for an actual situation for you to say, 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my friend Sarah. She was telling me about a big problem she was having with her mom. And you don't have to go into detail about what kind of problem she was having with her mom. I need you to go into detail about what you were doing or not doing that demonstrated your good listening, and be as specific as possible with what behaviors you were doing. Please be clear and specific in describing your example and in describing your behavior. Okay, so you're going to go with each strength separately. My first strength is I'm a good listener. In general, this is what I do. Last Tuesday, I was talking to my friend Sarah, blah, blah, blah. My next strength is I'm good at blank, and then talk about that one. My final strength is I'm good at blank, and then go through that one. Okay, so go through each strength like a separate little part. Then, so it's almost like each strength is like its own little paragraph, if you will. Then you're going to do number 2, and it's basically the same question, but in the flip side. What are 3 areas that you would need to improve in the area of interpersonal communication? And I'm looking for you to do the exact same thing. Explain in general, what do you do that demonstrates you possess this trait? And explain a specific interpersonal example of an instance that demonstrates that you need to work on this area. In your example, explain what you did or didn't do that shows you have to improve in this area. Again, give the area you need to improve. In general, how do you behave that shows you need to improve this? And then I'm looking for another specific situation in which you weren't good at that trait. Please be clear and specific in describing your example and in describing your behavior. Now, for these 2 questions, remember the lecture about what is an interpersonal relationship. I'm looking for you plus another person with whom someone you are sort of kind of close to. So I don't want you to say, when I ordered my hamburger at McDonald's, I gave perfect eye contact looking at the drive-through machine and I spoke clear and loud. that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in more, person to person, someone that you know from work or at home, or a friend or a neighbor. Or, we went through that in the lecture. A romantic partner, right? But not like a virtual stranger that you happen to have to talk to. And then number 3, determine 3 to 5 specific goals in the area of interpersonal communication, which you would like to set for yourself this semester. Please identify the people and or the context that you are focusing these goals. So you might want to just mention what you talked about in question number 2. Now, finally, it says, make sure you provide clear, detailed, and specific examples from your own interpersonal relationships, meaning or experiences, close friends, romantic partners, family relationships, work relationships, etc. Also, notice the directions for all 3 questions involve interpersonal communication. I am not looking for what are your personal strengths. So don't tell me I am reliable and hardworking. That's great if I'm going to hire you for a job, but that's not what the question is about. It's about how you communicate. So for question number 3, don't tell me that you want to try to be more punctual. That's your goal, or you want to lose 10 pounds. Because again, it has to focus on something regarding interpersonal communication. So obviously that's the name of the class. And so that's what I need your focus to be for the homework. All right, now let's go back, and I'm just going to go over briefly the rubric with you as I get off of this. And I'm going to go back to the rubric. So the grading rubric for all 6 homework assignments is exactly the same. It's out of 20 points. And if you want to get 18 to 20 points, which that would be an A, 18, 19, or 20 is considered an A, you need to follow the assignment instructions and guidelines effectively. You need to respond to all parts of each question. You will notice that all my questions have several little questions in one, so make sure you respond to each little question. Your responses need to demonstrate accurate and appropriate understanding of class terms and concepts. So don't get fancy and try to impress me with homework number 1. I don't need you to go through the chapter and pull out terms. I honestly just care that you understand what is interpersonal communication and what is an interpersonal relationship. So if your answers show me that you understand that, that's all I'm looking for. As far as you naming specific strengths and areas of improvement, they can be just everyday, ordinary things. Your responses need to be written with sufficient clarity and detail. I'm looking for some critical thinking, looking for fully developed, descriptive, insightful, substantial, and thoughtful analysis and self-reflection. So again, if you just said, when I was ordering a milkshake, I was very clear. That doesn't show a lot of insight. Okay, sorry. And then you always have to meet the minimum page requirement. And I'm looking for, basically a very few writing mistakes. Okay. It has to be able for me to be able to read it without tons of writing mistakes, which kind of make it hard to read. And voila, that's how you get an A. So these rubrics are basically the same for all 6 homework assignments. So if you have any other questions beyond that, just send me an email. But I try to give really detailed, I know it's annoyingly detailed sometimes, directions, because I want to help make sure there is no confusion. But if you still have some confusion, obviously email me, ask me, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.